व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. Text number 21. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Nishamya vedhaha tridashan vacha ha. Nishamya vedhas tridashan vacha ha. Gam paurushim me shrunuta amaraha punaha. Gam paurushim me shrunuta amara punaha. Vidhiyatam ashu tathaiva ma chiram. Vidhiyatam tathaiva ma chiram. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Nishamya vedhastridashanuvachaha. Gam paurushim me shrunutamara punaha. Vidhiyatamashu tathaiva machiram. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Nishamya vedhastridashanuvachaha. Gam paurushim me shrunutamara punaha. Vidhiyatamashu tathaiva machiram. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Nishamya vedhastridashanuvachaha. Gam paurushim me shrunutamara punaha. Vidhiyatamashu tathaiva machiram. Giram samadhau gagane samiritam. Nishamya vedhastridashanuvachaha. Gam paurushim me shrunutamara punaha. Vidhiyatamashu tathaiva machiram. Giram, a vibration of words. Samadhau, in trance. Gagane, in the sky. Samiritam, vibrated. Nishamya, hearing. Vedhaha, Lord Brahma. Tridashan unto the demigods. Vacha said, Ha, O, Gam, the order, Paurushim, received from the Supreme Person. May, from me, Shunata, just hear, Amaraha, O demigods, Punaha, again, Vidhiyatam, execute, Ashu, immediately, Tatha eva, just so, Ma, do not, Chiram, delay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. While in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. Thus he told the demigods, O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without delay. Please repeat this translation. While in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. Thus he told the demigods, O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without delay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears that the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be heard in trance by competent persons. Modern science gives us telephones by which one can hear sound vibrations from a distant place. Similarly, although other persons cannot hear the words of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma is able to hear the Lord's words within himself. This is confirmed in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavi is Lord Brahma. In the beginning of the creation, Lord Brahma received the instructions of Vedic knowledge from Lord Vishnu through the medium of heart, Hridaya. The same principle is confirmed here with. While Brahma was in trance, he was able to hear the words of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and he carried the Lord's message to the demigods. Similarly, in the beginning, Brahma first received the Vedic knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the core of the heart. In both instances, the same process was used in transmitting the message to Lord Brahma. In other words, although Lord Vishnu was invisible even to Lord Brahma could hear Lord Vishnu's words through the heart. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is invisible even to Lord Brahma, yet he descends on this earth and becomes visible to people in general. This is certainly an act of his causeless mercy. But fools and non-devotees think that Krishna is an ordinary historical person. Because they think that the Lord is an ordinary person like them, they are described as Mudha, Avajananti Mam Mudha. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is neglected by such demoniac persons who cannot understand the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and who therefore misinterpret them. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachar Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shukadeva Goswami is narrating the events leading to Krishna's appearance, Krishna's incarnation. And he began describing the events. Once upon a time, when the earth was overburdened by demoniac persons who were posing as kings, Mother Earth felt overburdened. And in order to get relief, she went to Lord Brahma. And Brahma, along with Mother Earth and other demigods and Lord Shiva, went to Lord Vishnu. And they offered prayers to Vishnu to relieve the burden of the earth. And Lord Vishnu responded to their prayers by replying to Lord Brahma. Now it is said here that Brahma heard the words spoken by Vishnu when Brahma was situated in trance, samadhi. Just like if you have a radio receiver, then the sound of the radio station transmitted through what is called as radio waves can be received through this radio receiver, and that radio receiver will convert it into the original sound. In the radio station, the conversion of the sound to radio waves is done, and those radio waves are transmitted through the air, and we receive through a radio receiver and reconvert it back into sound and hear that original sound. Something similar happens in the case of the spiritual vibration of the words spoken by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Brahma has got the receiver within his heart. What is that receiver that Brahma has got? All of us have. It's not just Brahma alone. Everyone has got. That method of reception of the transcendental sound is to prepare one's consciousness by meditating on Vishnu and going into the mode of samadhi or trance in order to be perfectly attuned to receive the signal and actually hear that transcendental sound. So this is a spiritual technique. Every day we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. This Hare Krishna mantra is a transcendental sound that you can generate simply by vibrating your tongue. Now, the sound that you produce by vibrating your tongue, just like I'm speaking now, you're hearing. One process is through the ears, you hear. And then using your intelligence, you understand the message or the word spoken. Another process is similar to this hearing, but it involves our spiritual consciousness. To hear the spiritual sound, we require to employ our spiritual consciousness. And this spiritual consciousness is the characteristic or the ability of our spiritual self, Atma, the soul. You simply have to focus your attention on the Supreme Lord to hear His message, or to even hear the spiritual sound in which form He has appeared when you vibrate your tongue and call out His name. Krishna. You say Krishna. You hear that, but it is not an ordinary sound. So, the hearing like we hear ordinary sounds is not spiritual hearing. It is material hearing. So, spiritual sound, if somebody materially hears, there is little benefit. There is some benefit. But to get the full benefit, the actual spiritual benefit, you have to hear using your spiritual faculty of focusing your spiritual consciousness on the spiritual sound. Now, this focusing your spiritual consciousness is something not new to you. To give an example, supposing a student is sitting with a book and trying to study, preparing for an examination. It's a common practice that we go to a place which is not very noisy, and then we start actually reading. Now, while reading, either loudly or even silently, unless the attention is completely focused on the reading, nothing registers here, even though the student may keep on reading. Is it not? Whereas when the full attention is there, entirely focused on the reading or the studying, it's more than reading, it is studying, then immediately everything gets registered. This is a very common thing. All students experience this. Everyone experiences this. Even let us say you're watching a TV program. If somebody is completely, fully focused and absorbed in the program, then they are kind of lost in it. So much so that sometimes the doorbell rings, they don't apparently hear the doorbell. Or the phone rings, they don't hear the phone ringing. Anything happening outside of that TV program, it doesn't register. It's a common experience, is it not? So this getting completely absorbed in studying or in watching the TV program, this is something similar to Brahma being in trance. How did he go into trance? By offering prayers. To whom? To Vishnu. Completely focused on offering prayers to Vishnu. The object of the prayers is the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is not visible, even though he is present in his abode and they have gone to his planet. But he is not visible, but they know his presence through the scriptures, hearing from authoritative sources that he is definitely present. And since the prayers are directed towards him, he will certainly hear the prayers. It is meant for him. So he is being addressed. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat. The very description of the Purusha Sukta, the first words, opening words, are describing to whom are these prayers being offered, addressed. The person who has thousands of heads, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. He is a Purusha, he is the Supreme Person. That same word is used here. Paurushim. Paurushim means the Supreme Person. Sometimes called Purusha, the Supreme Person. Vishnu. Which Vishnu? Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Because they gone to his planet. Shvetadvipa. Sahasrakshaha. He has got thousands and thousands of eyes. Sahasrapat. He has got thousands of feet. This is the universal form of the Supreme Lord that is being addressed in this Purusha Sukta prayer. Vishnu has also got a universal form. The whole universe, there are so many living beings. each having eyes and legs and heads, all those actually belong to the Supreme Person, Vishnu. So he is addressed as the Lord with thousands of eyes, thousands of heads, thousands of legs. So since he is being addressed and Brahma is focusing his entire attention, his consciousness, his soul, his very self, that means he is cutting off his attention from everything else. Cutting off attention from everything else. This is called samadhi. And it applies only to focusing one's attention on the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna. Similarly, when we chant Hare Krishna, the proper way to chant is to completely cut off our attention from everything else and completely focus or concentrate the attention on Vishnu or Krishna in the form of the Hare Krishna mantra, a spiritual sound. And that sound you have to generate when you do japa meditation, mantra meditation. You have to situate yourself properly to be able to completely focus your attention on chanting and hearing. Now this hearing, even though it is similar to hearing ordinary sound, but it is different in the sense that ordinary sound, even if you hear without full attention, the message or the meaning or the understanding can be grasped without much difficulty. But when it comes to receiving the spiritual sound of the holy name of the Supreme Lord, because it is completely a spiritual sound, the reception is not possible merely by hearing it like an ordinary sound. You are unable to receive the spiritual sound because of your knowledge that, oh, this sound represents is the name of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is described in the Shastras. You have heard the description. And you also have heard and understood, oh, it refers to the Supreme Lord. So when you hear Krishna, oh, okay, it is the name of the Supreme Lord Krishna that I am hearing. But beyond that, the Lord has actually appeared on your tongue in the form of this sound, and he is waiting to enter your heart through the medium of your consciousness, provided that consciousness is perfectly connected to the spiritual sound through the channel of your attention. Because nowadays we don't have the kind of radio receivers there used to be some 30, 40, 50 years back. We used to have now I have to describe it for the younger generation. The older generation people will know. We used to have something called a shortwave receiver, radio receiver. Shortwave means the range is longer. Far off radio stations you can tune in and you can receive those programs. And medium wave is relatively closer. So when you have this, all the waves are there in the air, in the atmosphere, and you tune the radio receiver to a particular frequency, and then when the perfect tuning, exact frequency you have tuned, then it catches, the radio receiver catches those particular waves, and you are able to hear that particular program, radio station broadcast. So sometimes what happens, the tuning is not very precise. So there will also be some noise that is picked up from the atmosphere. Or two stations, there is interference because the frequencies are close by. Similarly, when our attention is not fully focused exclusively on the particular sound of the holy name, that we are vibrating the tongue, and the sound of the holy name is being generated. If you're not fully focused on that, there is also the attention which is splayed, and there are so many other things you are also hearing in addition to hearing the holy name. And if our chanting becomes very, very mechanical, then we don't hear the holy name at all, because our attention completely gets diverted away from the holy name into a complete thought process, thinking of something else while chanting. So therefore, to actually properly hear, it is required that you situate yourself in samadhi or trance. And that's what exactly Brahma did. So therefore it is said here, while in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. The vibration is there in the sky. Others are not able to hear. There's so many demigods, because they are not able to situate themselves in trance like Lord Brahma. So Brahma situated himself in trance, and he heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. And then he told the demigods what is that message that he heard. And he's addressing the demigods. O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without delay. He's still not told what the message is. In this verse, it is said that Brahma heard in trance the words spoken by Vishnu in response to their prayers. And he gave an order. And now Brahma is communicating to the demigods what that order is. Hear the order of Vishnu carefully, attentively, without delay, execute it. Immediately something has to be done by the Devatas. So the next few verses will describe the actual order. But here Prabhupada says in the purport that Brahma is able to hear the Lord's words within himself. As I said, the medium is the heart of Brahma. In the beginning of the creation, when Brahma was born, the Vedic knowledge was transmitted to Brahma by Vishnu in the same way. Through the medium of the heart, Brahma received that, heard that, the knowledge, the entire Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is also called Shruti, sound, that which is heard. So it is always transmitted from Vishnu to Brahma and Brahma to his disciples in disciplic succession, the Kumaras, Narada, the Sapta Rishis, like that. And they in turn transmit that same knowledge by speaking. And the students formerly simply used to sit and hear the Guru chant the Vedic mantras. And just by hearing with full attention, the entire text of the Vedas was completely committed to memory. Shrutadhara, one who is fully committed to memory after hearing the Shruti, is called a Shrutadhara. And they used to hear so very attentively that they would commit to memory and remember it for the rest of their life. And not just memorizing it, but also by hearing with attention, after having prepared their consciousness through practicing tapasya, they purify the consciousness, their own consciousness. And with purified consciousness, when somebody hears, the message or the sound is not just merely heard and committed to memory, but also they realize the words, the message. Just like in the Vedas, Tad Vishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshura Tatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagrivag. Like that, Vedas have got so many of these mantras. Even the Hare Krishna mantra is a Vedic mantra. It is given in the Kali Santarana Upanishad. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So if you purify your consciousness, which is very, very easily possible, simply by practicing hearing this Hare Krishna with full attention and avoiding sinful activities by certain conduct, by certain discipline. If you purify your consciousness and practice giving full attention to hearing the spiritual sound of the Hare Krishna mantra, then you are able to obviously commit to memory. Now, what is the difficulty in committing to memory the Hare Krishna mantra? There is no difficulty in committing to memory the literal sound. Hare Krishna, the 16 words. Anybody can commit to memory very easily. But committing to memory the codified sound. This sound is a compressed sound which contains the entirety of the Vedic wisdom. The whole Vedic wisdom is compressed into these 16 words. Entire Vedas. So then, to be able to decipher, decode, like what your radio receiver is doing, decoding that signal and giving you the decoded form of sound, vibration. Similarly, for you to decode this Hare Krishna mantra and get the Vedic knowledge, not just get the message, but also understand, realize, and put it into action. All that is possible simply by purifying your consciousness and hearing just once with full attention this Hare Krishna mantra. Then all the Vedic knowledge, you become enlightened within your heart. This is a process. This is called samadhi. This is the perfection of the Ashtanga Yoga system of practice of meditation for self-realization, is realizing the Supreme Lord Krishna simply by focusing one's attention on the form of the Lord in the heart, or focusing one's attention for hearing the Hare Krishna mantra or the holy name of the Supreme Lord. And with purified consciousness, with full attention, somebody hears, then the realization is guaranteed. That's the perfection of your practice, of your spiritual life. And then everything is understood, learned, and you become perfect in self-realization. So, Brahma is able to hear Vishnu because he knows the technique and his consciousness is pure. So he is able to decipher it, and he knows how to hear it with full attention in trance. So he is hearing, and he's going to now tell the demigods what that order of Vishnu is. And the demigods have been told, hear attentively, carefully, you have to take action. You have to act on this order. And act on this order immediately. Machiram, without any delay. So we will hear in the next verse what that order is. I'll stop here. Some announcements. Now I'm repeating the announcements which I might have done in the past few weeks. Why is it being repeated? Several reasons. One reason is not everybody who's present today was present in the previous weeks. Possible. Some new people are there for their benefit. And also for the benefit of people who have already heard this, but it is not registered in your consciousness. It has to register in your consciousness that you have to really make time to act on this announcement. When I say we're going to celebrate Dasara, you should make time and you should actually come and get the blessings of the Supreme Lord by participating in this festival, in this program. So we are celebrating ISKCON Dasara day after tomorrow, 24th October. Celebrations begin in the evening at 6 p.m. and we have Rama Ashtottara Shatanamavali. Then we have a discourse. Then we have Harinam Sankirtan. And we have burning of Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Meghna, the effigies. So please try to participate in the full program. For whatever reason you're not able to participate in the full program, then do participate in whatever portion of the program you can attend. And if you're not able to come here to participate in this holy place, then you can also, are we going to have a live, broadcast to our ISKCON Mysore, a YouTube channel. We're also going to broadcast it live. So if you're unable to come, please do watch this in the comfort of your home on YouTube, ISKCON Mysore YouTube channel. You can watch it sitting at home also. Then Deepotsav will be celebrating for 1 month from October 28th to November 27th. Every evening at 7:30 p.m. There will be an Arati with a song, Damodara Ashtaka, Arati to Lord Damodara. And you can come and offer a ghee lamp. Now again, if you are unable to come every day, you can offer at home to a picture of Lord Damodara. And the song you can play in your mobile. The song is available on YouTube. You can download and you can play the song, the Damodara Ashtaka. And you have the accompaniment of the song. You can yourself offer a ghee lamp to Lord Damodara in your home if you're unable to come every day. We'll be organizing Gaur Mandal Parikram from 1st March to 20th March of 2024 for initiated devotees this time. More details are available on the website www.parikramas.org, or you can consult the temple devotees to get details. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.